worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to win the crown. I'm pissed off with these fucking clowns. We're on top, they deserve it now. It's only worth it if you work for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the All Elite Dirt Sheet. I'm your host, Mike Dinero. I'm joined here, as always, with my co-host, TK, in the building. What is good, bro?
Yo, Dinero, chat. What is good, baby? How you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. A little bit of a rough one to get through, but I'm feeling good because I'm here with you, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was feeling the same way.
Most definitely, man. Shout out to the 19 people already watching. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, bro. I mean, if you want to get right into it, do you want to talk some Dynamite?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yo, it was a Dynamite start, though. It really was. Like,
it was.
I think that we both were on the same page. You had texted me a couple minutes into the show, and like I still hadn't even gotten to the TV yet when you had texted me. I was still getting the kids situated. I was like, oh shit, dude. So I was like, all right, it's go time. All right, it's go time.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, let's get right into it. Dynamite live from St. Paul, Minnesota. St. Paul, Minnesota. We were at the Roy Wilkins Auditorium, which I thought was a nice looking venue, right?
Yeah.
You know, the crowd was an okay crowd tonight. And I was shocked because opening matchup right out the gate, we're getting what I thought going into this 100% was going to be the main event. And that's Kenny Omega versus Swerve Strickland. And not just Kenny Omega versus Swerve Strickland too, but with the stipulation that we talked about last week, if Kenny Omega wins, he gets the #1 contendership shot. And if Swerve wins, he is the new EVP of AEW. Now, there was a lot on the line. I thought 100% this should be the main event. It felt like a main event. These two busted their ass. They had a great matchup, just like their last matchup. I kind of was feeling the first matchup more than this matchup for the first half of this matchup. But then towards the ending, I was like, yo, they're just going crazy now with Kenny Omega kicking out of 2 swerve stomps, with kicking out of the vertebreaker. You had a bunch of crazy moves by both Swerve and Kenny. They really turned it up, and it was a great matchup. I don't want to say to my surprise, because I kind of felt they were going to go with the Kenny Omega route, especially with them going to Canada. Like, what would you do with Swerve as EVP? Like, it felt like, you know, there was too much for Kenny to lose, for him to lose this matchup. So I kind of felt going into this, we were going to get Kenny, you know, the victory, especially with Swerve getting the victory of the first matchup. I just feel like it would have been interesting to see Swerve as EVP. Not saying I'm mad at Kenny winning, but I wanted to see what EVP Swerve would have been. But Kenny Omega is now your #1 contender. He beat Swerve Strickland. Talk about it.
Yeah, man, it was interesting for sure. A lot of it was interesting. But first of all, before I rip into it, KPG, man, you're too kind. TK greater than Tony Khan. I appreciate you, bro, for sure. M, what's up? Hope
what's
you're
good, M?
great. Justin, what's up? Great watch along as always, bro. Hope you're having a good
definitely
night as well.
It's good.
But so I guess I'll just preface my thoughts with this. And Justin, I'm glad you're here because you kind of ruined this Dynamite for me. All right. So the show started off real hot. This match was fire. I'll talk about this match in a second. But I had gone to the watch along, and Justin had said, I go, this show has been real fun, fire tonight. And Justin's like, oh, it's ass backwards. And I'm like, oh, all right, whatever. That's fine, hater. It's all good. Whatever. But then, like, the more I thought about it, and then as I continued to watch the show, I was like, fuck, dude, he's right. This is should have been the main event, dude. Now, whatever. I'll get into the matches. The match itself was real good. I do think it started pretty slow in comparison to the last match. I don't know if they were just trying to build up to the climax towards the end or whatever, but the match itself was really good. I don't know if it was better than their previous match, but the both matches were in such proximity to each other. It's kind of tough for me to gauge it. But the match nonetheless was absolutely fire. Kenny looks just pristine in the ring right now, and it is great to see, man. And obviously, the result was to lead to Kenny and MJF in Canada, and I don't know why I didn't think they were going to go that route. I thought they were going to run that Swerve thing back, just because Swerve had been, I think, 2 years in a row he wrestled for the title at Dynasty. He won the title at Dynasty 2 years ago, and then he competed for the title at Dynasty last year. So I thought maybe like Dynasty is just Swerve's pay-per-view to go for the world title. But dude, I'm all in on this Kenny and MJF thing. But the match itself with these guys was really good. I was surprised there wasn't maybe some like more like I sort of cheated. He kicked him in the dick. He used some shit on the outside tables, whatever. But I was surprised there wasn't maybe a little like more aggression, like with weapons. And I know it was in a no DQ match, but maybe that's down the road with these guys. Maybe they're still setting up for bigger and better. I feel like there's a lot of meat to the bone left between these two guys, and maybe it's just because both matches have been on Dynamite. I don't know, but nonetheless, the match itself was really, really good, setting up for what was going to go on later.
Let me ask you what you think about. I know we'll talk about MJF later on, but do you think this is the last we see of Swerve until the pay-per-view, or do you think Swerve is going to find his way in this matchup? Because I just feel it was a little weird. Swerve just went away quietly after the match, and we got the contract signing next week, which we'll talk about, but with the clause of there's no physicality next week. I could see Swerve somehow finding his way into this match and making it a three-way. I mean, Swerve could come in. He could get physical with Kenny. So I could see him taking them maybe both out and stealing the matchup, signing his name on the contract. I just don't think this is the last of Swerve. And I feel like the stipulation kind of doesn't mean anything because in my eyes, I do feel like we're going to get a triple threat at Dynasty.
Dude, I didn't even think about that, but that's an absolutely great call out. So when I was just talking about like there wasn't much there, I just felt like, right, Swerve should have whooped his ass at the end. Why like the finish wasn't crazy. Like it's not like Kenny like laid Swerve out by any means. Like why did Swerve just go to the back? Why didn't we hear from Swerve the rest of the night? Why did we see Kenny Omega 2 more times and Swerve just wasn't there? Like, and what more importantly then, I mean, dude, Dynasty is 2.5 weeks away at this point. What the fuck is Swerve doing at Dynasty? It is not getting involved in this world title match. So that's a great call. I'm totally down with this MJF Kenny one-on-one thing, but having Swerve there then does give the out for where Swerve can take the pin, Kenny can take the pin, and then whoever you want to build that to MJF and Kenny one-on-one at Double or Nothing. Then you could say, well, MJF pinned Swerve, you didn't beat me, whatever, how triple threats go. So, dude, I love that call. Plus, then it keeps Dynasty Swerve's pay-per-view as we just talked about, getting those world title matches. But if it's not, Bakley said, he texted me and said, Swerve Brody too, but I don't know, man. We
haven't even seen Brody.
You're right. And like and Swerve beat him pretty fucking clean, dude, right? So I mean, I don't know if Swerve needs to fuck with Brody again. Swerve proved his point. So right. And now what, Kenny? We're 1-1. Okay, so what? Like, what the fuck? All right, you beat me this time. I beat you last time. We're 1-1. What? And Max, I've wanted your bitch ass for how long, right? Yeah, run it. I'm so down with that, dude. This is a great
especially with Swerve being a heel, I feel like he'll find his way to sneak into this matchup. As soon as they said that there's no physicality at the contract signing next week, I was like, yo, Swerve is going to take them both out. I feel like he's going to take them both out, sign his name on the contract, and there we got a three-way. Because, like you said, 2 weeks away, or maybe like 3 weeks away. Still, I mean, what do you do with Swerve? You can't like start something now and throw him into something that's like, a makeshift feud or just have like a random matchup. I feel like it was a little weird that he just walked away quietly because he's plotting. So we'll see. We'll see. First of all, shout out to Double J in the chat. World Elite, great episode earlier today. Had a lot of fun watching the top 10 heel turns in wrestling history and everyone's countdown. That was awesome. Shout out to my man Henry in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. You could check me out on the Chokeslam Wrestling Report last Saturday where we were talking about Revolution. It was a whole lot of fun. Check out Chokeslam Wrestling Report. And I agree with Justin too. Even if it is still a one-on-one between MJF and Omega, I'm excited to see them run that back because I really did enjoy that matchup between the two of them. I believe it was 2023, Collision 2023. Yeah, it was a couple years ago, but yeah, definitely a good match. And now Kenny's in a whole lot better shape. He's looking like the old Kenny Omega, and like Kenny tonight really impressed me. But we're going to go on. We're going to talk about this video package for Darby Allin. Dude, where is this coming from? Because out of the last 2 weeks, it feels like we really are building up Darby Allin. He got a full video package showing his whole career highlights in AEW. They even called him the Icon, taking the name from Sting, the Icon Darby. Do you think that we're pushing Darby Allin out of nowhere too much? Because he did have, a couple back and forth losses with the Death Riders and then with Gabe Kidd, and then out of nowhere now he's trying to be #1 contender and they're pushing him to the top spot. Do you think this is a little too quickly to get him back into that main event scene?
I hate it. I don't understand. And by that I love Darby Allin. I absolutely love Darby Allin, but I don't understand it, dude. He was here, he was at the climax, he was at the pinnacle. Hangman took his story because he didn't want it. He wanted to go climb the mountain. Cool. So he comes back, he beats Mox all those times. Like he was there again. Like he was climaxing again. And then right down to this Gabe Kidd thing and the dogs. Like, cool. He ends up getting the win in that random ass coffin match. He gets the win in the tag match at the pay-per-view. But like, what now? He just wants the world title just out of nowhere, and that's fine. And I'm totally cool with that. If we were just gonna go right to the Max and Darby thing, because there's so much history there that he could just say, yeah, I came back, I beat Mox's ass. I climbed the mountain, I came back, I beat Mox's ass. I slayed Gabe Kidd. Now there's no more thorns in my side. I want you, Max. We got all this history, and I'm coming for you. Bam. Yeah. That's your dynasty match. So like we could have waited on this Kenny Swerve. This Kenny Swerve thing could have been done for the number one contender at Dynasty. And then the winner of that could have taken on the winner of MJF and Darby at Double or Nothing. But this whole thing now that we're going to try to build Darby back up to what? To what? To win the Owen Hart just like he was going to last year? No, it's going to be Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay is going to win that. And Will Ospreay is going to win the belt at Revolution. Or I mean at Allin. So what exactly is Darby Allin now doing trying to get the world title? And when is Darby Allin going to get this world title? Because, bro, I'm not seeing a path in the next like 18 months for Darby Allin to get to this title, dude. So no. I don't know what the fuck we're doing. And I also want to say that if this is just a build to a Darby Andrade match, all this build to Darby, put him in the fucking main event against Roosh, dude, stop it. We could have just gotten Andrade Darby match by Andrade just showing up and fucking elbowing Andrade in his head. Like, it's that simple, dude. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's I don't know if these pay-per-views were just too close. I don't know if the last pay-per-view Revolution was just so fucking good. And this, I think Dynasty already, the matches that are, dude, I'm not hating it all. We got Kenny and MJF. We got Coben Christian and FTR. We got Moxley and Ospreay. This pay-per-view is going to be lit, dude. But the build might be a little suspect getting there. And I think that's what we're going through right now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. We had from World's End to Revolution, what, like 2.5, 3 months? Like 3 months to really build these stories and really like let it sit and let it, breathe and grow. And by the time we got to the Revolution, it was at a fever's pitch because these stories were really brewing up for months. And here we're like, I think there was only 1 month in between. Revolution was on the 15th and you got Dynasty on the 15th. So there's only a month in between. So they are like kind of rushing a lot of things right now. I like the video package of Darby, but same thing. Like I was thinking, like, what is the purpose? Because like you said, there is no path in my eyes for Darby to get a title shot, unless it's going to end up being something on one of those like special dynamites. Like I don't mind Darby getting a title shot if it's on, Spring Breakthrough or some shit that's going on next month. But right now, if you look at the way things are moving, I would go with Will Ospreay winning the Owen. I would go with Will Ospreay winning the title at Allin. And I'm not taking that title off of Will Ospreay for a long fucking time if he wins that title. So it's like, where's Darby fitting for all that? I'm right there with you, man. But speaking of Will Ospreay, we got the Billy Goat here on the show. He cuts a promo. He first of all, he calls out Pac for next week on Dynamite, which is going to be a banger matchup. Maybe that's what we were missing on this Dynamite. We needed some Will Ospreay versus Pac. I was hoping that was going to be on this week.
That would have been fire. It would have spiced the show up a little bit for sure.
Oh, yeah. But he calls out Pac for next week. He says that Pac is sticking his nose in, Will Ospreay's business with Jon Moxley. And then he gets really personal with Moxley. He thanks Moxley for giving him time to see his son grow, right? And get to like really sit there and have this time off. But he says that he promises that he's going to alter Moxley's life just like he did his. And he wants Moxley at Dynasty. This matchup is going to fucking bang. I thought, and this is no disrespect to Takeshita because I love Takeshita, but I thought Moxley versus Takeshita was a fucking banger. There's no way that I feel that Moxley and Takeshita is going to be better than Moxley versus Ospreay. This is going to be an awesome matchup. And you got the added grudge that you have Ospreay fighting with a chip on his shoulder because it was Moxley who took him out in the first place. And I love, even though we're going to talk about the match, I'm all over the place right here. I love the fact that Moxley, yeah, right. Agree. But I love the fact that Moxley was all like, yo, it's not even personal for me, bro. And Will Ospreay is like, yo, I'm fucking coming to kill you, bro. Like, it is extremely awesome to see the different dynamics. Moxley's like, business as usual. This is what the Death Riders do. We just take people out. And Will Ospreay is like, well, you took out the wrong motherfucker and you should have killed me because I'm back now. And I'm excited for this matchup. What do you think about this promo? And what do you think about this matchup going down at Dynasty?
Bro, I'm fucking stoked for the match. The promo was great. I feel like this was one of Will Ospreay's stronger promos that he's cut in AEW, period. And I don't know if it's just like the seriousness behind him, talking about his family, everything that you mentioned, but ending it, Jon Moxley, I'm coming for you, motherfucker. Like, dude, yes, let's go. And then right into the match. So I thought the promo was awesome. The match intrigues me because I don't think that they said the Continental title's on the line. So is this just going to be like a grudge match or they're like a street fight style match? I mean, I'm fine with it because we don't. Again, I think we all know the path for Ospreay is going to win the world championship at Allin. So I don't think he needs to win the Continental Championship leading up to that. Because then what is he going to be double champion? I think that kind of degrades the Continental title. Anyways, it's a story for a different day. But no, the promo itself is great. The match itself is going to fucking rock. I might disagree with you on the fact that it's not that it'll be better than the Takeshita match solely because, and he fucking did it tonight in this promo, dude. And I don't mean to jump the gun, but the Death Rider promo, dude, it wasn't. Moxley's been so. I even said when they were coming out, dude, I was like, damn, the Death Riders are just dope. They got all this aura around them, dude. They feel fucking so fresh. But then Moxley's promo after the match, dude, awful. And I think it was awful on purpose. He showed us for a full year that he can cut awful promos on purpose. And I think his heel shit. It's bad on purpose. And like I'm not saying it was bad. It was great because he did it on purpose. So I think like he wrestles a little more dog shit as well when he's wrestling. Like against Takeshita, he was the face. I think he's just much better as that fucking I'm fucking coming at you, die hard, try hard babyface role. So that's the only reason maybe that Takeshita match would be better. The match is gonna be fire. I guarantee he'll get 5 stars by Meltzer. So
I definitely agree. I like the only part I liked about that promo was the fact that he said that it's not personal. Because the whole don't disrespect someone who's on TV. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Hey, look at the cameo. What's up with little man? I don't want to make him upset. We were just dissing Darby. So
I know he'd be so mad, dude. That's why I was like, I love Darby.
What up, Dom in the chat? What's good, bro?
Brother.
So yeah, let's talk about this Death Riders matchup. We had a mixed gender trios matchup. It was Jon Moxley, Daniel Garcia, and Marina Shafir, who, by the way, really feels like she is now getting back to being lost in the shuffle after Toni Storm was injured, because we were looking at a possible, in my eyes, a tag match with Ronda Rousey and Toni Storm, and Marina's in the mix there, and now she's just doing shit with the Death Riders again. But Mox, Daniel Garcia, and Marina versus Top Flight and Zeta Steel, who, by the way, I'm very happy to see Zeta Steel on TV. Big fan of Zeta Steel from her independent work, her work in MLW. I thought it was really big of her to leave WWE ID on her own accord to come to AEW because she wanted a better opportunity. And seeing her on TV was really cool. This was a fun mixed tag match. I thought it was fun. But yeah, going into this matchup and then going like afterwards with the promo, it's like for months I was like, hey, Jon Moxley doesn't need to pick a role. He could be a heel or face. I even said it last week, but it's like, dude, this is like a little weird when just 2 weeks ago you was like, hey, fighting spirit, let me shake hands with Takeshita. And now it's like, fuck you, Will. And it's like, whoa, where is this coming from? But yeah, tell me, what do you think about the matchup? And then I know what you said about the promo, but do you think that Moxley is a little too like wishy-washy with his role?
Yes, I thought he had found his tweener role perfectly. I thought he wasn't. When I said he was wrestling as a babyface, he never was actually a babyface, but he was just like he was a tweener style babyface though. Like he wasn't being a chicken shit heel anymore, because Jon Moxley does not need to be fucking a chicken shit heel. It's that simple. Mox doesn't need to do that. Mox doesn't need to be squeamish on the mic. Mox doesn't need to be squeamish in the ring. He's fucking Jon Moxley, dude. Just go out there and fight, whoop ass, regardless if you're a face or a heel, which I thought he had found that niche. I think it'll probably just be for this Ospreay thing, and then he's going to go back to being the fighting champion. But I don't know if that's any better. This match was fun, though. This mixed trios match was a lot of fun. I'm a big fan of Zeta Steel. I'm a big fan of Top Flight. Well, I'm a big fan of Darius Martin. Or I'm a big fan of Dante Martin. Let me ask you a question. I don't want to sit here and dog Darius, okay? But Darius was on the shelf for like 18 months at a point, and I really feel like Dante had come into his own. I feel like Dante had like TNT title aspirations. I feel like he could be an ROH world champion right now. And then Darius came back and he got stuck in this fucking tag team again with his brother. And I feel like it's just completely and utterly weighing him down, dude. What do you think about that?
Dude, I agree. I remember his feud with Powerhouse Hobbs where they were trading wins. And I was like, yo, Dante, he's got something. I think it also had to do with his injury because it did feel like he slowed down a little bit after he what was it? He broke his ankle or something at that ladder matchup with Penta.
You're right.
Yeah, so he slowed down a little bit after that because like he had all the momentum in the world and then he broke his ankle. Nasty fracture too. It looked like Sid Vicious coming off the top rope, if you remember that.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it was a mix of things, but yeah, like I don't know, because you go back to like 2022, 2023, Dante Martin looked like he was next up. Like I was definitely seeing the bright future for him, and I still do, but it just doesn't feel like, you know, I don't know what they're doing with the Top Flight. Like first it's Top Flight, now it's Flight School or whatever the fuck they called them, Sky Flight.
Yeah.
They were first with Layla Gray, or I think her name was, and then now there was Zeta Steel, so they're switching up like the women that's with them. They put Scorpio Sky in that position with them, and now Scorpio Sky is with Christopher Daniels, and it was just a lot of like, yeah, there's too much playing around with them. They don't need to be in a faction. Just Top Flight and Zeta Steel. Boom. They don't need Scorp. They don't need Christopher Daniels.
Right.
They don't need none of that. But I don't know. I feel like Darius Martin, he always was like the weaker one to me, just because like I saw less of him because he always seemed like he was injured. But I don't think the Dante. No, wait, Darius. Dude, I'm fucking lost. Darius Martin always being injured hurts the tag team. Dante Martin getting injured when he was red hot hurt the tag team as well. So I feel like the momentum kind of has been, you know, stuck there.
Yes. And Poppy, what is up, bro? Hope you are having a good little hiatus. We miss you. We love you. Thank you for everything you do, my guy. And Dylan, what is up, brother? Beautiful overlay, like always, my guy. Hope you're having a good night and great show.
For sure, yeah. Like I said to Jordan, I really enjoyed the show earlier, so definitely thanks for being here, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Next up, we have Speedball Mike Bailey in a quick matchup with Rocky Romero. Pretty quick matchup just to really show what Speedball could do and really, I guess, showcase him. I like Speedball. I like what they're doing with the whole thing with him and Kenny later on. We'll talk about that. But Speedball is a hell of a talent. I just thought that once, you know, Speedball and Jet Speed and Mystico won the trios titles, we'd see more of Speedball, Kevin Knight, and Mystico as trios champions. But this is the second week in a row we got a singles match for Speedball. I don't know what they're doing with that, but this was a pretty nothing matchup. What do you think?
Oh, well, I thought it was pretty obvious what they were doing. Speedball got the Kevin Knight showcase role this week. So I think that Kevin Knight got 3 weeks. Maybe Speedball is going to get 2 weeks. Or maybe Mystico will get a couple singles matches. And then we'll get the random one-off trios matches on Collision. No, I don't know. It was whatever, dude. It was a way to get Speedball on the card, show how good he is. Filler.
Yeah.
I think it's when the show started to kind of...
What's up, Ange? That's wifey right there. You know, I thought that was funny, like not to skip ahead, but I thought it was funny how last month leading into Revolution, like you said, Kevin Knight got the same treatment, and then Kevin Knight asked for a title shot when Hangman was supposed to win the title. And then tonight we got Speedball, same thing, asking Kenny for the first title shot when Kenny wins the title. So I don't know if it's rinse and repeat or is it on purpose? Are we going to see something come out of this? I don't know. But Speedball, always glad to see Speedball Mike Bailey. But this was, like you said, the point of the show where it starts to go. Whoop. We next get MJF. He comes out. First time we see MJF since Revolution. He cuts a promo that's very obnoxious, you know, gloating about his victory over Hangman Page. The fact that Hangman can never, ever, ever, I'm not even going to say it as many times as he did, but never hold the title ever again. You know, he hits all his catchphrases. He hits all his, you know, one-hit wonders. And then out comes Kenny Omega. And this is the second time we're seeing Kenny. One of my criticisms of AEW in the past was, you know, everything feels so like sectioned off. I like when AEW does like let a story play out throughout the night. So I was glad to see Kenny here. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, I am excited for this, but I thought the promo was pretty cringe. Like, people call me the god of wrestling, and I don't want to be the god of wrestling, but if you're the devil, then I'll be the god. And it's like, I don't know. They could have saved this for next week. Maybe Kenny was a little winded from his matchup, but I felt like this was a little like not the best showing on the mic from Kenny.
Yeah, dude, it was again, I'm very excited for the match, MJF and Kenny Omega. I think the match is going to be awesome, but Justin was right. He hit it on the head. The show was ass backwards, and the reason for it was this should have been the main event. And then I realized it wasn't the main event because they wanted to set up to this Kenny Omega confronting MJF segment in the middle of the fucking show. Why not main event this? We saw Kenny Omega a third time tonight. Okay, cool. I'm always down with them telling stories throughout the night. But why the fuck did we need to see Kenny Omega a third time in a backstage interview after he had just been in the ring with MJF? It was goofy. It was really goofy to me. This shouldn't have been the main event, and then this promo should have been next week, and then the contract signing should be the following week, and then we should be going to the pay-per-view. Like, I don't know why we are doing two things into one, unless you're right. If this is all leading to Swerve coming out next week during the contract signing, they needed to fast pass that to get to Dynasty with the triple threat and have that on paper for 2 weeks. Then I want to really just take my words back and eat them. And I apologize, but maybe they could have started this last week. I don't know, dude. But the premise of all the promo sucked, and it being in the middle of the show kind of sucked. It should have been in the main event.
Yeah, I mean, I even wrote down that instead of seeing Kenny 3 times in the show, I wouldn't be mad if we saw MJF twice in the show. I could have been okay with Kenny and Swerve in the main event, Kenny winning, and then you could have this one-on-one face-to-face with MJF. MJF comes out after the matchup in the main event scene, and then you have the face down between these two. Like, that would have been okay. You know, have MJF start the show talking shit about Hangman, and then he ends the show face-to-face having a promo battle with Kenny after Kenny won in the main event. Yep. That would have been even better, but instead we get 3 Kenny Omega segments, 1 MJF segment, and none of it really was that good. So it's a whole lot of filler and nothing, if you ask me. But this is also where I feel like the show starts to take a dip, because even though the next couple promos were good, it just felt like promo after promo after promo after promo, because next we got Cage and Copeland backstage, and this was a really good promo by Cope. Like, I liked, I thought it was funny with Cage saying that it was, it got personal when FTR dropped Beth on her head with the pile driver, but they even took it further when they dropped him on his head. Cage, perfect, playing this asshole role. I love it, right? But I really like that Cope really got personal, told the story, the back history, going all the way back to 2009, and Cash Wheeler going up to him in Gold's Gym and showing him that he wrestles, and then Copeland taking him in, bringing him to his house, saying how, you ate my wife's food, your kids hang out with my kids, they go to the same school, and you still threw all that away. Like, this felt like a classic Edge promo, like the way he was like, gritting his teeth and shit. Like, I love that side of Copeland. And then I thought, all right, cool, 2 promos back to back. Now we're going to the next matchup. But no, instead we got an FTR promo. They come out, they rebut, they talk about, Cash is like, yeah, we knew each other since 2009, but we moved on, blah, blah, blah. It was a good promo, but it also felt like, all right, we're doing too many promos back to back to back, and it feels like it really threw off the pacing of the show. And I think that's why it felt a little weird in the second hour.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I thought the Cope and Christian promo, or Cope and Cage promo was really good. The FTR promo got to the point. So I don't like, again, this is all of it does not make sense to me. So you tell the story earlier in the night that the Young Bucks want the tag titles, they want it back. Then you get to Cope and Cage, good promo. The Young Bucks was a good promo. Maybe, I don't know what they're doing, but they have me fired up for them wanting to get the tag titles in 2026. So good on them. Cope and Cage was good. The FTR thing was fine, which led to Orange and Roddy coming out, which I love that. Like, I was like, cool. We have this Orange and Roddy team. Roddy is like making it abundantly clear that he wants the team with Orange. They want to go for the tag titles. All right, so maybe we get that on a collision one night, FTR versus these guys. Cool. But then, what happens in the tag team? They Stokely pushes Orange, then they get into it with each other, and then they lose. And again, the Dogs already ate 2 losses in a row to these guys, so they can't lose again. What are we doing, dude? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's funny because I wrote down, as soon as I saw the shoving matchup between Roddy and Orange Cassidy and FTR, I was like, Roddy and Cassidy are going to win this matchup and probably get a title shot on Collision, right? Because you got to follow up on that. And then, like you said, they lost to the Dogs. And yeah, you know what? The right team won, because I've been saying it every week. Keep the Dogs strong. You just brought them in, especially David Finlay. There was all this hype. Where's he signing? Where's he going? David Finlay chooses AEW, and then he already ate like 2 losses. So keep them strong. I appreciate that. That's cool. But then why do the pre-match shenanigans with FTR with Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong? I don't get where this is going. Like, I personally would have liked if they just like maybe like showed like, you know, a stare down with Orange Cassidy and Stokely, and then they just like walk by, like merging those segments like I talked about last week. I like how like one segment bleeds into the next one, but you did the whole shoving matchup. So it seems like we're going to get something with these two teams, and then there's nothing. I mean, they could still have a matchup on Collision with these two teams, but not for the titles at this point.
Right.
It shouldn't even be an eliminator matchup because they just lost to the Dogs. If anyone, the Dogs should get the fucking title shot or the eliminator matchup. But I thought this was a good matchup, and I think they call it the full clip. Awesome, awesome finishing move by Dave Finlay and Clark Connors. Good to see them win the matchup here. And I also wrote down that this should be it. Let the Dogs move on. You know, I don't want to see.
Let the Dogs out, dude. All right.
Exactly.
Let the Dogs go play. Get them away from the conglomeration. Okay.
For real, man. There's so many different things I'm excited to see with the Dogs in AEW, and I don't need to see them keep on trading wins back and forth with Roderick Strong and Orange Cassidy. So, what's next? Do you possibly do the Bang Bang Gang? I mean, I don't know what the update is on Jay White. I would hope that he's coming back soon. It's been over a year, but yeah, I mean, shit, what's next with the Dogs? Because we can't keep going back and forth with conglomeration. Gosh.
Yeah, so I think that we're gonna get until Dynasty just maybe a filler match with them, and then maybe another conglomeration match where they do go over. I'm thinking of Dynasty. You know, like he likes to do these battle royals at a lot of these pay-per-views. I think we're gonna get one of those gauntlet style elimination match, not elimination matches, but what's that match he does where guys come out like 3 guys at a time or whatever? But I think it's going to be tag teams. And I think
casino battle royal.
I think they're going to do the casino battle royal, or is that only a double or nothing thing?
Nah, they do that shit on Dynamite. They did it at Allin. They had it at they do it all the time.
Because Ospreay won like 3 in a row the year that he came. Like,
and they were like within the span of like 4 months.
Yeah, it was so all right, cool. Yeah, the casino gauntlet. Yeah. So I think that they're going to run a casino gauntlet at Dynasty, but for tag teams, because they got a lot of tag teams they got in motion right now, but I don't know what the fuck they're going to book. So you got like the Bucks, you got the Dogs, you got Orange and Roddy, you got Private Party, you got Top Flight. Yeah, I don't know where the fuck where have the Rascals been the last 3 weeks? Then they got the Bang Bang Gang, you got the Demand, but like the Rascals, didn't they beat FTR on Collision not long ago, and then they haven't been on TV in like 3 weeks? So I don't know, but you got a lot of tag teams right now who are, you know, vying for that tag team gold. So I think that the Dogs will get in there, and then yes, throughout the course of that match, they'll mix it up with Deuce Robinson and Austin Gunn, leading to something coming out of that Bang Bang Gang. The Dogs, Jay White comes back, double or nothing. Jay White's Bang Bang Gang, David Finley's Dogs. Let's go, baby.
Nah, I love that. I mean, I like the idea of a casino gauntlet for the tag teams too. I mean, you have a lot of tag teams, like you said, no one's doing anything with them. Rascals. If we're not doing the 3-way at Dynasty, throw the Young Bucks in there too. You could have them win the matchup, and that's how they get the title shot at the next pay-per-view. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm just excited to see what's next for them, and I hope it's not another matchup with Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong. We next get to see, for the first time since Revolution, we get to see Divine Dominion, aka Mega Cross, and yeah, they're going to be going against Harley Cameron and Willow at Collision. We got the Babes of Wrath getting the rematch at Collision. I just want to say, Mega Cross looks good with gold. I thought that he looked like money holding those tag team titles, and they should be the tag team champions for a while.
Yeah, until All In. I think someone in the chat called it out. The Brawling Birds should win those tag titles at All In for sure. I didn't know Lena Cross was British, so that was cool. You learn something new every day.
She's Australian.
Oh, my bad. I got my accents mixed up clearly, but I had no idea she was Australian. So I just thought she was an American. So yeah, that was cool. And yeah, Megan Bain looked phenomenal with that gold, dude. Phenomenal
for sure.
Also, someone who's glowing, baby.
Someone who looks good with gold. My man Kyle Fletcher. You said it's going to be hard pressed to find someone as good as Kyle Fletcher. I totally agree with that, man. I love what they're doing with him. Like, he is not all for this working with MJF. He made it known again tonight. He said that he thinks that the Don Callis family should be working to bring back that world title to the Don Callis family. He hasn't lost in 2026, unlike Kenny Omega, unlike MJF, and he's going to be the guy to bring that title back. I said it last week or 2 weeks ago. I didn't know how much I needed MJF versus Kyle Fletcher, but kind of like Darby Allin, where do they fit that in? Like, I feel like that has to happen now. We got to have Kyle Fletcher twice now saying that he's not pleased with the Don Callis family work with MJF. And I feel like you have to pull the trigger with one of those matches, whether it's Darby versus MJF or with Kyle versus MJF. So do you see that happening soon? Or do you think we just build up to more of the Don Callis family having dissension with Don Callis because he's working with MJF?
Yeah, I think there's going to be dissension within the Don Callis family. I think Thekla coming out at the end of the promo for Fletcher showing, because Thekla is going to be a face at some point. So maybe that Proto Sheeta just ends up being a face altogether. Because Kyle Fletcher is going to get turned face organically at some point by the crowd too.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Darby match probably happens at Double or Nothing. You're talking this triple threat into existence in my head already. I think it's already locked on paper. So I think we're going to get Swerve and Kenny, a rematch, be the final match at Double or Nothing in some crazy street fight. And that's that meat on the bone that I was talking about earlier. And then a lot of history with Double or Nothing between Max and Darby. So I think Darby beats Andrade. And then maybe, earlier I said, like, where the fuck does Darby go with his title shot? He's not going to win the title, which is the problem. But fine, he'll get the pay-per-view title shot at Double or Nothing. I think that Darby gets that. As far as where Kyle Fletcher fits in, maybe after Ospreay gets the title, we get an Ospreay versus Fletcher main event on pay-per-view. Fletcher doesn't win it yet, but another world title spot for him, face or heel. I think that we can go either way there. But Fletcher should be world champion. Fuck, man, I think Fletcher should be world champion before Darby. Don't let a lot of people hear me say that, but
I'm right there with you. I love Darby Allin, but gosh, Fletcher's doing amazing week in and week out, really proving why like he is the future of AEW. And I'm not mad at it. I just don't want to wait for it to be Fletcher versus Will Ospreay. We've seen that. I know they have amazing matches. I'm cool with that happening, but the way he's talking, a little grimy against MJF, I feel like MJF Fletcher first time ever, that would be a lot more fun.
But you also said Spring Breakthrough. That's a good spot. And then what's that other one they do in the summer? That Arthur Ashe show?
Oh, the Grand Slam. Yeah.
Grand Slam could be a good spot too, but I guess Ospreay might have the belt by then.
Yeah.
Oh, Justin, I don't hate that at all. Fletcher taking the title from Ospreay at World's End. I mean, that's a lengthy run. That's a 7-month run for Ospreay. If he gets 6-month run for Ospreay, if he gets that.
And that's telling a story. They have a lot of history. They go from teammates to rivalry, brutal rivalry. That cage match was one of the best cage matches I ever seen. And then you bring it all the way like full circle. I feel like Will Ospreay would be glad behind the scenes. He would be glad to drop the title to someone like Fletcher.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that'd be phenomenal.
Speaking of title matches, let's talk about this double main event. We have the AEW women's title match, Mina Shirakawa versus Thekla. Thekla, man, she has really grown on me. I've been saying it every week. Thekla as champion has been a lot of fun. I love the whole Toxic Spider gimmick. I think that Mina and Thekla could have had a bit of a better matchup. It was okay. I feel like there wasn't such good chemistry between the two, but I am a little confused because it did feel like Mina was going to go into this rivalry with Marina Shafir. And then tonight there was like just no talk about Marina and Mina besides the fact that Tony is injured or Tony got taken out and there's a mystery of who did it. And then I thought, what if it was Mina? Because look who's reaping the benefits of Tony Storm not being there, right? Look who's reaping the benefits. First of all, Mina gets her shot at Marina last week, gets the victory, and then she gets a title shot this week. She's reaping the benefits of Tony Storm not being there. So I'm not mad at that. I just know we're not going to see Tony Storm for quite a while. We might have that build up a lot longer. But overall, what do you think about this matchup? And where do you think this fits in with everything that they were showing last week and with the Revolution with Ronda? Are we even going to see Ronda again?
Yeah, man, there's really a lot to unpack here with the AEW Women's Championship scene. I felt like the women's division was hot going into Revolution. Again, I think everything's kind of just cooled down because I feel like Revolution was like just such a. I mean, again, we said the best AEW pay-per-view of all time. One of the best best pay-per-view I've seen. Fuck, man, I don't know how long it was that good. So I guess maybe everything's gonna feel like a letdown coming off of something like that. But the match itself didn't do much for me. When Thekla walked out, I go, damn, dude, I love her. She's such a fucking star. She just like reeks of fucking phenomenalness, dude. Everything she does, her presentation, she's great in the ring, but I don't know, man. It wasn't clicking to me. And I don't know, and maybe I blame myself because I was sitting there stewing that it wasn't the main event. I was sitting there. I think Tony Schiavone had just said something like it's going to be Andrade versus Darby Allin in the main event. And I'm just like, fuck, man. Like, it's not even Andrade and Darby. It's Roosh. And you're just setting up this Andrade after the match shit. Like, Andrade's clearly on your head, Tony. I don't know. The match itself just, and maybe I just blame you, but I couldn't get into the match. And I do think that the Mina taking out Tony thing would make sense because who else would be? Thekla in 10 months will make no sense or whenever it is that she comes back. The Sisters of Sin, nobody really makes sense. So I think that your theory with the Mina Shirakawa, which I didn't think about until now, or maybe you said it last week too. I think that there's a lot of potential there. But what are you doing with Mina? And more importantly, we got 2 weeks to 2.5 weeks to Dynasty. What's Tekla's route? Are we going to get another Statlander match? You would have thought that her opponent would have came out tonight. Now, she did beat Mina with brass knuckles. So do you think Mina says, I want you in a street fight at Dynasty and like we get another Mina Thekla match?
I mean, if that matchup's anything like tonight's matchup, I'm not excited for it. But I guess a street fight would make it a little better. Dude, I don't know. Like, you got like 2 weeks. What are you going to do with the women? I don't know. It just feels like everything is really up in the air. And whatever happened with Toni Storm, I know there's a lot of rumors of she's injured. She might be pregnant. There's so many rumors out there, right? Whatever it is, I feel like threw a real monkey wrench into all the plans for the women because you could just see, it just feels like they're scrambling right now.
Oh, do you think maybe we were going to get Tony and Thekla for the world title?
I mean, no, I actually thought they were going to continue on with the feud with Marina because it was supposed to be Marina versus Tony. And then, like I said last week, you showed Ronda walking out with Marina. I thought that if anything, there would be a tag match, Marina, Ronda versus Mina and Tony. But now, I don't know. Like everything's up in the air.
Yeah. I don't know about Rousey. I was really excited thinking we were going to get a Tony Rousey match. I mean, that could main event a pay-per-view, dude. Like that's such star potential. You even heard Charlotte Flair talking about it on I don't know where she was, but I think something with Bleacher Report in an interview. She goes, me and Becky don't main event that match if Rousey's not involved. And she goes, you could say what you want about her not being great in the ring, but the woman's star power just says it all. So, and I was hoping we would get a Rousey Tony match. I didn't anticipate Rousey doing anything physical until after her Netflix bout anyways. I thought maybe like her just being there was a way to pub her name back up a little bit more in the mainstream. And I did see her little video on Twitter today, her little vlog, and she said, I've never been to an AEW pay-per-view. The crowd was phenomenal. And she goes, also, it was a way to stick it to TKO. Fuck TKO. It's like, oh, shit. Oh, she probably won't be back on actual AEW programming for quite some time.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought they were going to like build that all the way out into like All In because that definitely feels like an all-in matchup. That's the biggest show of the year. You do that in the stadium. But who knows? Next up on the show, we see Renee backstage with Kenny Omega. For the third time, we see Kenny Omega. And just a whole lot of nothing. This was really just to announce that there's going to be the contract signing next week, which is when I started to like the wheel started to turn. And I was like, this is where Swerve gets himself into this matchup. And then we see, like we talked about earlier, Speedball Mike Bailey walking up to Kenny, saying that he respects Kenny and he wants the first title shot once Kenny beats MJF at the pay-per-view. I want to ask you, because this is the same thing that they did with Kevin Knight. I know we talked about Kevin Knight possibly going heel. Can you see, instead of Kevin Knight going heel, can you see Jet Speed as a team going heel?
I don't think Speedball Mike Bailey can be a heel. Can he? I guess I didn't see his early indie work, so I wasn't too familiar with him, but he just seems like babyface for life, dude.
Put that mask back on him that he had at Revolution. He could be a heel real quick.
There you go. Yeah, Grandam. Kevin Knight just got so much, yeah, Grandam, yeah. I think Kevin Knight just got so much like swagger and aura to him that I think he's going to be a better heel than he is babyface.
Oh yeah.
I want that cookie cutter Speedball babyface versus swag Kevin Knight heel match. So I don't think that they do. I don't know where they're going with this. I don't know why they're just redundantly doing the Kevin Knight route with Speedball. maybe next month they do it with Mystico. Like I said, I'm not sure what they're doing, dude.
Next up, we got something that I was shocked to see. We got a promo from The Demand, and Ricochet is on this show. I thought they were going to stay far away from Ricochet for a couple months, but Ricochet's on the show, and he's talking about wanting a title shot. I don't know where you go with this. I mean, I could see Ricochet versus Jack Perry going down at the pay-per-view. I could see that be the title shot that he gets. But, he's over here talking about Kenny. He's talking about MJF. Do you think it was too soon to put Ricochet back on the show? And where do you think they go back with Rick? Do they go back and forth with Jack Perry and Ricochet again? Because we've been, seeing a lot of that. What do you think is next for Ricochet?
Yeah, it was interesting seeing him back on TV. I mean, whatever. He issued his apologies. Shit happens. I thought he was in character. Honestly, like I was like, get him, guy. Like I truthfully just thought he was in character. I wasn't trying to be like an insensitive dick. I literally just thought he was fucking in character. Like that's what he does.
He was. I just feel like, things get blown up a lot more nowadays than it probably would have back in the day. But
oh man, if this was 1999, it'd be no thing, dude. But it's 2026. It's 27 years ago. Isn't that crazy? That's 27 years. Oh man,
bro, that's like my whole life almost.
Yeah, I know. You're just a baby, dude. Yeah, but not to divert. No, it was good. It was good seeing Ricochet on TV. It was good to see the Gates of Agony there. I think that those guys, they should be in that Casino Battle Royal for the tag title shot as well. Yeah, Ricochet and Jack probably is the route to go. I don't know, Ricochet's out here name blasting all the top guys. We're not going to see Ricochet involved with those guys for quite some time. Ricochet is going to know his part. He's going to be that mid-card heel. And, I mean, maybe he can elevate himself up to the TBS championship one day or something like that. But, yeah, him and Jack probably one-on-one. Not very many stories they have built in for matches at Dynasty. That's one of them.
Yeah, most definitely. Now it's time for the main event. The main event. We got Darby Allin versus Roosh. Now, I don't want this to sound like I'm hating on either Darby or Roosh because I love Roosh. I've been saying for years that this man deserves a better spot on AEW. This guy is a former two-time Ring of Honor champion, former CMLL champion. I love Roosh. I always said, if you look at Roosh's style, he always reminded me of a Mexican Kenny Omega, like the way he hits those knees and how dynamic he is and just like explosive he is in the ring. He always was a amazing wrestler to me. I always was a huge fan, and I was so happy to see Roosh come to AEW. It just feels like every time they stop him, it's like, all right, you got him on TV, he's getting pushed, you got LFI, and then he's back in Ring of Honor. And then he's back in, AEW, he's doing some things, hanging around a little bit, then he's back in Ring of Honor. I want to see more of Roosh in AEW, and especially in the spot main event scene, because he deserves it, right? This matchup with Darby was good. He beat the shit out of Darby, which I feel like most people expected. That's what Darby's role is. He, gets the shit beat out of him, and then he finds a way to win. He's basically the Tommy Dreamer of AEW, always getting, destroyed in the ring by everybody he's in the ring with, but he will find a way to inch out a win. I just feel like this was not a main event. This could have been the opening matchup. This could have been anywhere on the card. This does not feel like a main event. Exactly, this was especially after you had the big match between Swerve and Kenny. This is after a women's title shot. This is, I don't know, it just felt like the wrong placement. It felt like there was like another hour of the show, and this was just like going into like the third hour. It just felt weird. What did you think?
Yeah, man, I'm with you. I don't want to take away from either one of the guys. I love both guys. I love Roosh. They should do so much more than what they do with Roosh. I feel like there's 5 segments tonight that could have been the main event over this. This just, all right, man. Listen, dude, I'm a big fan of the Don Callis family and the talent in the Don Callis family. But you are fucking telling me that we're running Kenny Omega versus Swerve Strickland on this show. All right, fine. You want to open the show with that because you want to build this Kenny Omega versus MJF thing? That's fine with me, dude. But you're going to throw the MJF Kenny Omega promo in the middle of the show? No, you main event that, dude. All right. But those 1-2. All right. The 1-2. You got a women's title match on the show that you're clamoring is the double main event. Fucking just put that as the main event then. That's the third segment right there. Dude, you got the Death Riders. Now, sure, that match doesn't warrant main event. But Will Ospreay coming out and beating the shit out of the Death Riders to end the show and making the crowd hype up, go crazy, all right? Leading to him and Pac next week. That's a main event. But you mean to tell me that the Don Callis fucking B team is out here ending the show? And don't disrespect the dump truck, but that's like when Scott Norton and Stevie Ray are out there leading fucking Vincent and Horace Hogan and Brian Adams to the fucking ring, okay? So we got Lance Archer, we got Trent, we got Rocky Romero. And
who lost in 2 minutes earlier in the show, by the way. Like, don't forget that. Rocky Romero loses in 2 minutes, and then he's out here in the main event segment. Like, come on. Not to cut you off, but...
No, you're good, right? Rocky Romero shouldn't have been anywhere near this thing. We ain't seen Trent on AEW TV in how long? And yet, here comes him trotting out all, like, nonchalant and cool and shit. Rocky Romero, Lance, and Mark Davis, who hit him with a nasty pile driver on the entryway. But, dude, come on. Give me a fucking break. This isn't a main event, Tony. I don't know what you're doing. I know you want to build to whatever you're building to the title match last week. You wanted to do that on this show. But, man, bookend your shit, dude. If you want to open with Swerve and Kenny, then you finish it with MJF and Kenny in the middle of the ring and a nasty stare-off going to the credits. The show was off. The main event was off. And, again, maybe it was just me thinking, like, watching this going, this just is not a fucking main event of the show when you got all this other shit on there. So maybe it was me, but that last, like, hour and 20 minutes was tough tonight, man.
It definitely was. I just thought about it too. Like we did see the Don Callis B team, and we also saw a reluctant again Andrade who did not want to join in on the fight. He was arguing with Don Callis to end the show. So that's Andrade. That's Takeshita. That's Kyle Fletcher. Are we seeing the big names from the Don Callis family start to branch off, break away from the team? And then I'm thinking, Double or Nothing. You always have a stadium stampede or Asylum in the Arena, right? There's no factions really going at each other right now. Are we going to see the guys who are still, gun-ho for Don Callis versus the guys who are questioning Don Callis and they all just like collide at Double or Nothing? Because I thought for sure, like you said, you had Tony Schiavone mention Andrade. You want to build to Andrade versus Darby at the pay-per-view, but right now, it looked like Andrade was against the attack on Darby. So where do you put Andrade and Darby on the pay-per-view? If anything, put fucking Mark Davis versus Darby on the pay-per-view because Andrade was not with the shits tonight. He wasn't going to help out the team. He was against working with MJF, so he was not there to jump Darby. He was questioning Don Callis on the stage.
Yeah, man, it's befuddling. Honestly, what they're doing here. So Don Callis wants the money, but Fletcher's going to question him. Takeshita wants nothing to do with any of them outside of Fletcher. I mean, he's made that abundantly clear. And then Andrade wants nothing to do with this. The family wants the world title. Don only cares about money. I guess it's going to come to a head at some point. It would be interesting if they ran Andrade, Fletcher, Takeshita against Okada's led group over there, but I don't know. I think Andrade I think Andrade probably needs to stay heel in his role right now. I don't know, man. Usually I have lots of words. Right now, I'm just kind of like, I guess you know what they say, just let the story play out. We got 2.5 weeks to let the story play out. I guarantee Dynasty is going to be fucking fire regardless.
Hell yeah. That card already looks great.
Yeah.
But AEW, that's what they do. They have amazing pay-per-views. I think we were a little spoiled with what we got, leading up to Revolution with amazing shows. And then Revolution was, like we said, one of the greatest of all time. And then, the last 2 weeks just fell a little off. So with that being said, what are you grading tonight out of 5?
Oof. What did I give last week? I gave it last week a 3.5.
I believe so.
All right, because this week was definitely I think a 3.25 last week. Oof, all right, because this week was definitely worse than last week. Oh man. I'm going to have to give it a 2.75 out of 5 this week because I just have to set myself up. I need to set myself up for bars. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't the worst of the worst, but I can't imagine them putting on a much worse show than this, if that makes sense. So I'm going to give it a 2.75 out of 5. Not a fine effort tonight.
Yeah. I was going back and forth with 2.75 and 3. I think I'm going to give it a 3 just because I can't talk about how AEW needs to have stories like weave throughout the whole show and like end out, have a beginning, middle, and end. And then when they do it, be like, oh, well, it sucks. So I want to give it a 2. So I think it's a 3 just for the fact the in-ring shit was good. Like it just felt like it was the wrong placement for the matches. but everything in ring was good. Roosh versus Darby was fun, but it was not a main event. Swerve versus Kenny was a great matchup. It was not supposed to be your opening matchup. The women's title matchup should not have been the co-main event when you have a title on the line. You have a title match in the main event when there's nothing else on the show but what was it? Dude, it was a no counts out matchup. What was the need for a no counts out matchup? Like, just so Darby and Roosh could fight in the crowd? Crazy. It didn't make sense to me. But yeah, I'm giving it a 3. Like I said, I liked the segments. I liked the promos. I liked the matches, but everything just felt out of place. It's like you can have the best shit in the world, but if it's not, in the right place, then it could all feel bad.
No, it's definitely a fair score. I think a 3 is probably the right spot. I just want to set myself up for a show that is a 3, so I'm trying to set a bar for a 3.25 and a bar for a 2.75 for future shows when I do my grading. But I think a 3, because everything that you said is spot on. Everything it was good in the ring. It wasn't like it was a poor product in the ring. The promos were good, but yeah, I think the placement just bothered me so much tonight that I can't fucking get past it.
That second hour having like 3 promos back to back to back, and it's like they all like were long promos. It wasn't like quick 1 minute, like get the point and that's it. 3 long promos all after each other. You couldn't put like one in the beginning, one in the middle, one in the end, and like have matches in between. Like, come on.
Yeah, man. It was and maybe the Tony injury is throwing everything off, but I can't imagine that like one person's injury like that like shaves the whole trajectory of the shows for 2 weeks. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. Hey, Kenny, you're not in the main event tonight. Why? Oh, Tony's injured. What?
Yeah, right. Oh shit.
So I don't know if you caught any other matches. I feel like there only was 2 matches that was announced for Collision. Yeah, I got Ace Austin versus Tommaso Ciampa, which should be a lot of fun. I talked about Ace Austin last week. I think that he's got a whole lot of talent. Tommaso Ciampa really feeling like just a Collision guy, which is cool because it makes you want to tune into Collision. But I think Tommaso Ciampa should be on Dynamite as well. And then we got the rematch for the women's tag team titles, Mega Cross, the Divine Dominion versus Babes of Wrath. I think that might be the launching point for what we talked about with Harley going heel. Mm-hmm. Maybe they lose here again. Maybe something, Willow takes the pin and she like flips out, or maybe Harley takes the pin and she's mad that Willow didn't have her back. I don't know, but I feel like that's going to be the launching point for the heel turn. Yeah,
I love that. That would be cool. It gives us something going into Dynasty. Maybe a Willow Harley match would be very impromptu, but I would love that because I don't know what we're doing with any of the women's match. Well, Willow's the fucking TBS champion, so I don't know what we're doing there. Maybe we get a Willow Harley match for the TBS. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing with the women. Tell me. Now I understand what happened. I understand. Tony Storm's injury threw literally everything off. They don't know what they're doing with anybody right now.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
I don't know, man. But yeah, like I said last week, I had more fun hanging out with you than I did watching the show. So thank you for that.
Yeah, definitely. I had more laughs and enjoyment right now than the first 40 minutes was great though. I really did enjoy the first 40 minutes of Dynamite tonight. I was like, oh, we're on our way to a 4.5, like a 4 grade show, but it just didn't come to fruition, unfortunately.
I'm right there with you, man. But shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys were awesome tonight. Shout out to the 70 people watching right now. We appreciate you all. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, ring the little bell emoji thing that's right by the subscribe so you know when we're putting out new videos. And by the way, we have new shit coming every single day here on the Circle Debate Network. We have watch-alongs for every major wrestling show, Raw, SmackDown, AEW, NXT, TNA. We even are going to be doing a watch-along for not Major League, for Maple Leaf Pro this Saturday. We got games, we got sports talk, we have everything on this channel. Speaking of, we got the man who's the man here in the sports category for the Circle Debate Network. What do you got going this week with Game Breaker Sports?
Yes, sir. We will we'll actually be back live tomorrow, 5 o'clock. Me, Streets, and Dylan will be breaking down some March Madness. I cannot fucking believe we'll be waking. God bless. We'll be waking up here in a few hours for Thursday. The Sweet 16 is back, baby. I'm jacked. If you couldn't tell, stoked. We have 4 great matchups tomorrow night. We got 4 great matchups on Friday night, leading into the Elite 8 this weekend. So me, Streets, Dylan will be breaking that down, giving our Sweet 16 Elite 8 predictions, who we think is going to get there, and then we'll also tonight. I know your crosstown rival. The Yankees are playing the Giants on Netflix. Wrong show, my bad. So they're doing their thing on Netflix tonight, opening day, Major League Baseball. So we'll be breaking down some Major League Baseball talk and some wrestling talk as well. So swinging tomorrow at 5:00 right here on Circle of Debate. Streets, Dylan, and myself breaking everything you need down. What's going on in sports right now?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm excited for that Mets opening day tomorrow. Man. Mets Pirates, let's go. Like, start of the season is going to be a lot of fun. Shout out to Dan in the chat. But yeah, man, I had so much fun with you tonight. Like I said, everyone in the chat, thank you so much. Everyone follow on Instagram at AEW.podcast. Follow on Twitter at AllEliteDS. Follow on TikTok at AEW Podcast as well. And make sure you hit the subscribe button for the Circle of Debate. You don't want to miss all the action we got going on a daily basis. Boo the Phillies. Let me just say that. All right. All right, Dan. Boo the Mets. Thank you, Alex. Let's go, Mets. All right. We won't end it like that. End it on a high note. Let's go, Mets. LMG. Love you guys. Peace out, y'all.
Later, guys. Go White Sox.
Like a CEO, I'm moving like an athlete pro. I party like a rock star show. I'm